Hello aspirants, welcome to Upsc Ias YouTube channel. This is the second video of our Polity series. If you haven't watched our first video, then I'm going to attach the link of our first video in the description box. So for today's video, I have picked Preamble for the discussion. This topic is exceptionally important from prelims perspective. We are expecting at least one question in the upcoming prelims. So we'll try to understand the meaning of the words which are present in the preamble. There are some significant words and we'll try to understand the philosophy behind these words. So if you are a layman and you know the literal meaning of these words, then that's enough. But if you are an aspirant, then you must know the underlying philosophy behind these words. You must know the concept behind these words. So there was a reason why these words were included in the preamble. So when you open a book, you come across, an introductory page, which we call that preface. Now that page contains the vision of the author. That page contains the philosophy of the author. And this particular page, that introductory page, gives an idea what that book is all about. In the same manner, we have the preamble to the Constitution. And this preamble gives an idea about the noble and grand vision of our founding fathers, of our Constitution framers. So this preamble contains the ideals, vision, aspirations, goals of our founding fathers of the Constitution. So we have this word sovereign. So we'll try to understand the meaning, the underlying philosophy behind this word. Now, sovereign. Now, what is the meaning of this word? Okay, so let me try to make you understand. A country can be called sovereign if it does not allow any interference from any other country. Okay, so suppose if the USA tries to intervene in our internal matters, then we won't appreciate that. We won't allow them, and we won't even listen to this country. Okay? So, be it internal matters or external matters, we are absolutely free to conduct our own affairs. So we are supposed to deal with our own matters the way we want to. We do not allow any interference from any other entity. Now, you see, the India is a part of the United Nations. Now the question emerges that does the United Nations have the power to intervene or have the power to impact the policies of our country? No, absolutely no. Although India is a part of the United Nations, but that does not allow the United Nations to impact our policy or affect our policies. Okay, so being a sovereign country, since India is a sovereign country, India has the power or has the authority to acquire any territory. So India can acquire any territory. Okay, any territory. Okay. Now, Suppose India wants to give up some part, some territory to any other country. India wants to give some territory, some part of our country to any other country or any foreign state. Then India can do that. So India can cede the territory also to any foreign state. So being a sovereign country, India has the authority to conduct its own affairs the way it wants to. Okay, so this is the whole idea behind the word sovereign. Okay, now let's try to understand the word socialist. Now, this word socialist, it was not present originally in the constitution. It was added by 42nd Amendment Act 1976. Okay, so it was added via 42nd Amendment Act 1976. Now the question arises that since it wasn't present originally, so maybe India did not have the socialistic approach. But this is not true. This is absolutely false. After independence, India had followed the socialistic pattern. The government wanted the socialistic pattern of the society. Okay, but let me try to make you understand. India's socialism is slightly different. India's brand of socialism is different. Why? Because India has mixed economy. India has mixed economy. It means public sector and private sector both coexist together. Both coexist together. Now, India's brand of socialism can be called as democratic socialism. Democratic socialism. Not communistic socialism. Okay, so India's socialism is known as democratic socialism. Now, India's socialism, once the Supreme Court said that this socialism, India's socialism, is a blend of Marxism plus and Gandhian socialism. Okay, so this is also an important point that you can remember, that India's socialism is slightly different. Okay, it is not a communistic socialism. In communistic socialism, the government has the power to produce almost all goods. Government has the power to distribute, and the private participation is almost minimal. But in India, as I said, private sector and public sector both coexist together. Okay, and Supreme Court once said that India's socialism is a blend of Marxism and Gandhian socialism. Okay, so this is also an important point that you can remember. Now, secular. This word, secular word, was not present originally in the preamble. It was also added via 42nd Amendment Act 1976. Okay. Now, India follows the positive concept of secularism. It means all religions, all, religions have the same status in our country. Okay, so this is the first point you need to remember, that it wasn't present originally. It was added via 42nd Amendment Act 1976, and India follows the positive concept of secularism. Okay, so now let's move to next word, democratic. Now India has democratic setup. Okay, so what does that mean? What do you mean by the democratic political system? Okay. Now just ask yourself, who has the supreme power in our country? Is it parliament? Is it the president? Or is it the prime minister? Well, none. In our country, people have the supreme power. So the supreme power is held by the people of India. By the people of India. So in a democratic political system, people have the supreme power. Okay, so these people choose their representatives, because we have indirect democracy. Okay, so people, they choose their representatives, and these representatives frame policies on the behalf of the people of India. Okay, so we have in India, we have representative parliamentary democracy. Parliamentary democracy. Okay, so this is the whole idea behind the word democratic. Now let's talk about the word republic. Republic means the head of the state is elected in our country, because head of the state is what? President. Okay, so India is a republican country. Why? Because India, the head of the state in India is elected. Okay, so although the president is elected indirectly, but we have the elected head of the state. Unlike the Britain, in Britain, the king enjoys this power. The king is the head of the state. King is the head of the state. Okay, so in India, the head of the state is elected, and we have the president of India, who is elected indirectly. Okay, so India is a republican country. Now let's try to understand the word justice. Now preamble says that the state has to ensure social justice, economic justice, and political justice. Now, what is social justice? What is social justice? Social justice means there should not be any discrimination on the grounds of caste, creed, race, sex, gender. Okay, so there should not be any discrimination. Okay, now we have economic justice. What do we mean by economic justice? Economic justice is that there should not be any discrimination on the basis of economic factors. Just because somebody is poor, then that person is not allowed to access any hotel, or that person is being discriminated against. So that should not be happening. Okay, now one more thing you can remember. When you combine social justice with economic justice, then it is known as distributive justice. Distributive justice. So this is also an important point that you can remember, that when we combine social justice with economic justice, then it becomes the distributive justice. Now, what do we mean by political justice? Political justice means that we have some political rights. Okay, we can claim the political office, any political office, and we have the right to vote. That's it. Now let's try to understand the word equality. Now equality, the preamble says that the state has to ensure the equality of status and of opportunity and to promote among them all. So equality, we can discuss the equality in 3 dimensions: civic equality, political equality, and we have economic equality. Economic equality. Now, civic equality. So, civic equality is ensured by Article 14. Article 14. Now, this Article 14 talks about the equality before law. Equality before law. Equality before law. It means that no man is above the law. Every person has to follow the law of the land. So we have Article 14. Then we have Article 15, that there should not be any discrimination on the basis of caste, sex, gender, religion. Okay. Then we have Article 17. Article 17 talks about the abolition of untouchability. Okay, that there should not be any discrimination against any member of scheduled caste. Okay, and then we have Article 18, which talks about the abolition of titles, no special treatment, no special privilege. Okay, now second we have the political equality. Now this political equality is ensured by Article 325. It means no person can be declared ineligible for the inclusion in electoral rolls on the basis of caste, religion, sex. So no person can be declared ineligible. So this is Article 325. Then we have Article 326, which talks about universal adult franchise. Universal adult franchise. It means every person, all persons above 18 of age have the right to vote. have the right to vote. Okay. Now, after that, we have the economic equality. Okay. So, for that, we have Article 39. We have Article 39, which is a DPSP, I'm sorry, which is a DPSP. Okay, Directive Principle of State Policy. Now, Article 39 ensures that state should provide adequate means of livelihood. Adequate means of livelihood. Okay. Now the last word is fraternity. Fraternity means a sense of brotherhood. So let me just fraternity. Now, fraternity means a sense of brotherhood. So the preamble talks about this word fraternity. Why? Because our founding fathers wanted this sense of brotherhood among the people. So this word promotes the spirit of brotherhood among the people of India. Now this fraternity can be ensured by two things. First, the dignity of the individual, and second, unity and integrity of the nation. Integrity of the nation. So it means dignity of the individual means even if you are rich, you have everything, you have got car, you have got flat and everything, but you do not have the dignity, then it impacts your psychological level. Okay? If you do not have the dignity, then your overall development is very, very difficult. So dignity of the individual is very, very important. Now second is unity and integrity. So for that we have Article 1. Okay. Article 1 says that India is a union of states. Union of states. And states have no right to secede. Okay, they cannot withdraw from this union. Okay, then moreover, there are so many issues in our society, but preamble, this word says that we have to overcome. This word indicates that we have to overcome those barriers: linguistic barriers, religious barriers, caste barriers. Okay, so promoting the spirit of brotherhood. Okay, so I guess we have discussed all the significant words. Yes, liberty is left. Now liberty, what is liberty? Liberty means the absence of restraints. Okay. So it means the state cannot impose restrictions on you. Okay, you are allowed to live your life the way you want to live, but that does not mean you have the license to do whatever you want to do. Okay, there are certain limitations. There are certain limitations. Okay, so you have to enjoy your liberty, but within these limitations. Okay, so liberty in our society, liberty in our society is not absolute. It is not absolute. Rather, it is qualified. Rather, it is qualified. Qualified. Okay. So in this video, I wanted to discuss the philosophy, the meaning of these words, and I guess we have covered all these significant words. So that's all for today's video, and I'm signing off. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.